many years ago, our son was vision screened at his school in 4th grade, and he was identified as needing glasses, unbeknownst to us. And so we obviously went to the ophthalmologist and took care of that. And it made me realize there's a lot out there that isn't being picked up by your normal pediatrician. And I was just very grateful that this was identified. And so I started thinking about that, and I thought, oh, this is a good thing, this Prevent Blindness organization.
I actually initially got involved with Prevent Blindness when I was in high school. I was looking for some summertime volunteer opportunities, and my mother was on the board and suggested I vision screen, preschool vision screening. Our son was born in the early 90s, and he had some vision problems, and so I called Prevent Blindness right away. And Dr. Ridley and Mark Rudham saw him. They were also board members, and he had glaucoma. So he had 4 surgeries in the first 6 months of his life, doing these glaucoma surgeries. So Prevent Blindness came full circle for me as well.
I originally got involved with their golf outing. I had a group of friends that had done the golf outing for a number of years, and they asked me to get on the committee. And I'd be an unusual pick because I'm not really a golfer. It's the first golf event I play in June, and usually the last I play in June. And maybe I pick up some other ones in July, but that's how important that event is. It's the one charity that we do the most for. And I've never really sat down with my partners to discuss, how it happened, but I think they probably feel the same passion for helping out kids that I do. And it's been good for us. So the things that have always resonated with me is the fact that we're screening preschool children, and I think it was the first dinner I sat down at, and the ambassador parents got up and told a story about their child, and I was somewhat shocked that this type of thing could slip through the medical system, and that schools didn't necessarily screen. It was just kind of like you sat back in your chair and it's like, wow, cringed a little bit that could be your kid.
To me, sight is the most important sense we have. If you lose your hearing, you taste, feel, whatever, you can get along with hearing. But if you lose your sight, you've really lost a lot.
Prevent Blindness is out training volunteers to screen children, and I went to a screening at one of the schools and thought, that was a pretty neat moment to watch. The number of kids they screen, most of the kids are actually, kind of watching in the process, excited to do it. You can see some of them were not excited. But if you find that, 10 kids out of 100, it's a big, you're making a big impact on those 10 children.
Prevent Blindness provides this service for, I think, over 200,000 children in Wisconsin. And they go into these preschools, and I think they do health fairs still as well. And they really catch a lot of kids because it's this silent issue. The pediatricians aren't catching, the parents aren't catching, and the child probably doesn't know enough to realize he can't see something correctly.
This is clearly an organization that is delivering a very important service, and it's not being driven by a government grant. It's just being driven by the fact that there's a group of people that believe that there's a need out there that isn't being served, and we are serving it with private dollars. And to me, that should make everybody feel very proud. One of the most unique things about Prevent Blindness is pretty much is a 100% volunteer organization in terms of how we're delivering the process. There's a very small number of employees, and most of the screeners are volunteers. Once you meet the people that actually implement the mission, I'm not talking about the board members, I'm talking about the Prevent Blindness staff and the people that do the screening. That is truly a unique team of people.
Well, the motivator is preventing blindness, and I think if you get all kinds of new people involved, it also spreads the word. A lot of our friends have gotten involved because our son had an eye issue, and we really appreciate that. And then I think they've seen then what the organization can do for the children and adults in the state. The Dangle family, the Housekeys, our family, and many others. They've been involved for years and still are involved. So I think that's what's special about it. It's almost like a family. It's not like this nonprofit. It's a close-knit family, and that's what I think is really special. And a lot of people don't hear about Prevent Blindness until their child's caught. I would love to see every child in Wisconsin screened. And right now, about 200,000, 50% are screened. So there's 50% out there we need to reach. So more money and more volunteers.
I think the big thing is to get the number of screenings up. I mean, if you just look at it from, a mathematics standpoint, if you're doubling the number of screenings, we should double the number of kids that we find with issues that we can solve. 50% works in my business in terms of sales. I mean, if I'm hitting 20 or 30%, we're making money. But, 50% when you're dealing with children is not a metric you want. And so our goal should be to get that metric to 90, 95, 100.
More volunteers, more money, more exposure. And I think it's baby steps. You take one step at a time and it builds. People my age should do this to make a difference. And as I mentioned, they're having eye issues now. I think they're acutely aware that how important their sight is. I encourage them because we have a good time, but they can make a difference financially or volunteer or whatever.
There's a lot of good charities out there, but it was exciting for me to know that we were helping out kids that needed it, and kids that if you didn't find the problem in some of them, they're going to lose vision in an eye, which is a very big deal.